Okay, this is collecting evidence for Unit 256, MTA Windows Server Administration Fundamentals. Sean and Sarah are present and it's the 2nd of February. Okay, Sean, it's Learning Outcome 1.3, which says understand server installation options. So you've put together a PowerPoint for me, so just take me through it, please.
Yep, so I'll be talking about Windows Server 2008 R2 and the different editions, the different services within those editions. So my first slide here is before you choose...
Run it as a PowerPoint?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Let's
get that one there. So this one here it's a screenshot of the different editions you can get. So before you choose to install Windows Server 2008, you need to know which version you'd like to have.
Sure.
So you've got different ones here, such as Enterprise, Data Center, Standard, Titanium, Web Foundation.
It's quite a few, isn't there?
There's a fair few, yeah.
Which do you think would be the most common one out of those?
Well, the most common ones I would say is Enterprise and Standard. Probably Standard more than anything else.
Yeah.
Or actually not Enterprise, because you've got Active Directory.
You do get that on Standard as well, as it happens. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so yes, you are right. It's Standard and Enterprise, and it will determine on what you want to use the server for, won't it?
Yeah, so obviously if you want stuff like, if you want Active Directory, for example, you want to use Enterprise or Standard or Data Center, whereas, for example, if you go for Web, you might not get that.
No.
On certain editions.
Web is a web, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's web-based, isn't it?
Yeah, so web server is just for a web server, you're right. Okay, good. Okay, so you've got the different variations there. Okay, what else?
Okay, next slide.
Yep.
So you've got two main editions here. It's the full version and server core. So I've got here full version v server core. So I mean the main difference here is that Windows Server Core isn't Windows GUI based. So that means there's no Windows desktop viewing session. There's no start menu or anything like that.
That's right.
And the main thing with this, another important thing to know actually, is the security. So if you have a server core, it's more secure because it's not Windows based, it's all command line, therefore you need to know what commands to enter, what commands you have entered, so therefore it's more secure than Windows desktop, the other one.
Good.
Full version.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you just look at your table, can you see that, just tell me what the table is showing you there.
So it shows things that are installed on each edition. So for full you have...
Careful, is it showing you what's installed on each edition?
Oh no, sorry, it's...
It's showing each edition?
Each edition, yeah, each edition.
So what's it saying? For each edition you get what?
So 86 and 64...
So what's it ticked? So for each, so take Standard, what do you get version-wise?
Oh, it's full.
And
server core as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, I see, yeah, so for each edition, you can either go for full version or you go for server core.
Yeah.
So some of them might not have one or the other, like here, I've noticed Windows Server 2008 for Titanium-based systems, you can only go for the full version.
Exactly.
So you can't choose server core for that edition there.
So what we're saying really is, not only do you have to choose which version, i.e. is it Standard, Enterprise or Data Center, but you also have to decide on whether it's...
It's a full server core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, off you go.
Okay. So anyways, just like installing a normal Windows 7 operating system, you first insert the CD and you boot to the CD. So here I've got the screenshot of myself booting to it.
That's fine.
And again here, this one's quite important, you choose your language, obviously that's important, and the keyboard. So like if you choose the US keyboard, when you're typing something it will be different because the buttons are different on a US keyboard.
Yeah, it's usually the @ sign and the 2 that are different, isn't it? That gets irritating. So you think you're doing an @ sign, it comes up as the what it shouldn't come up, but absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and then this bit here as well, so this is where you actually install the operating system. So you've got options here such as repair, what you need to know before installing Windows, so that's just like what requirements there are, pretty much,
Yep.
And this part here, this is quite important. So when you do install Windows Server 2008, you have the different options as I mentioned before. This is where you choose what edition you want to install for Windows Server 2008.
Yep.
And as I said before, you know, depending on the requirements and what you want on there, like Active Directory, for example, that's when you choose what edition you want.
And it's quite easy to get it wrong, because can you see there that if you're not reading it, you might go, oh yes, it's enterprise, bang, and the one that's highlighted is actually server core. So you really have to make sure you're choosing the right one, otherwise you'd have to totally reinstall it.
Exactly, yeah. And that'll take a long time.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's just an agreement there, so you accept that and then press next. And now this part here is just for upgrading custom. So you would upgrade, for example, if you have another operating system, so yeah, you just upgrade from one operating system to the other. So
what might you need to be careful of though? Can we upgrade?
You can't with some operating systems. No, with some server operating systems you can't. So you need to be careful with that, and it's best to research that beforehand.
Okay.
But I mean, with like Windows 7 you can. So I can upgrade from Windows 8 to Windows 8.1, for example, using this.
Yeah.
And then custom, that's like when you install a clean copy of Windows on the system. So I would go for that when installing this. And for the partitions, this is where you choose where you want to install the operating system, because just remember it takes up a lot of space. So you need to choose the best place to put it.
Okay.
There we go, it's installing now.
The install of OS is very simple these days, isn't it? Once you've chosen it, it's not a lot really to do.
It's just you just run through it. It's like a command wizard, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just as long as I always say, as long as you can read a screen, anyone can install an OS.
Yeah.
But it's what you do with it afterwards that's the hard bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then another option you'll find somewhere is to set the password for the admin account.
Why is it particularly important that a server has a strong password for the administrator?
Mainly for security reasons, because someone could access it and just enter the password, and then they'll have access to a lot of things like group policy. If you install group policy on there, the exchange system, so all the mail servers they'll have access to. So it needs to be strong and secure.
Good.
And here again I've got just a password wizard, so just in case you ever forget your password, which is important to do on a server. I mean, I wouldn't really do this on my normal Windows client machine, but I'd do it on a server because it's, as you said before, it's important to have a secure password, and if you forget it or something, you can't get onto the server, and then that's it, you're...
Bit of a problem really, isn't it?
Big problem, yeah.
Okay. And this is you having installed it?
Yeah, so once it's fully installed, this screen here will appear.
Okay.
And here you just got certain things like activate Windows, which I'll speak about in a minute, time zone.
Yeah.
Just the basic things you need on your server machine.
Okay.
And lastly, here, when you just like a normal Windows 7 machine, for example, you have to enter a product key for Windows to allow you to use it. So if you don't enter this, you won't be allowed to access certain services that Windows or Microsoft provide.
It's basically saying, what's it saying? It's a product key that says what?
So it's a product key that pretty much says, like, for Windows you need to install this, otherwise you can't access certain things. Yeah,
but it's saying a lot more than that. If you don't have a product key, what can't you do? It's not you can't use part of it, you can't use
the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a license, isn't it? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So without it, you're not going forward?
You can't use it, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Is that done?